you'll see what I've done here is a very typical, classic, easy win. Move around the foreground. I use this in corporate jobs all the time. They love it. They absolutely love it. Reveal your character and use what you've got around you. It's so easy. You must know the move, but this is how it goes. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it where you are. Here, I've got lovely kind of contrasting light on the fingers, and then the background's very dark, and the middle is perfectly lit. Contrast and shaping your light is crucial. No one wants flat light. So in terms of composition, think also what angle you're going to be framing from. If the sun's up here, don't be shooting them so all you see is that bright light on their face. Try and create, without too many ugly shadows, that little bit of contrast that gives your character shape. Never be afraid of the wide shot. All the time people just go for the mids and the close-ups, and they get to the edit and they think, I haven't got a wide shot of my character. You might think it's boring, you might think, oh, I'm never really going to use it. Jesus man, get the shot. You can get it and then not use it, but you can't not get it and then use it. I never used to get wides and I would always kill myself for it. Nowadays, it's one of my favourite shots. I love a good wide shot. That's why you see a lot of these in this film where you've got either landscape or my mum as we have here. This framing is a bit more typical, where you've got, kind of positive thirds as it were, where your subject is looking into the space of the shot. But at this point in the film, I'm not really trying to show the intrigue and hiding things as much. At this point, I'm just wanting to explain the character. So here you see my mum taking a photograph of a beautiful landscape. It tells you everything you need it to. I'm no longer hiding things, trying to get that sense of mystery. And again, by shifting the camera around like that, the background is moving in a different, I don't know what the word is, plane, as it were. You can almost do this as a parallax if you do photography. If you don't know what that is, look up parallax or cinematograph, beautiful things. But by moving your character around the subject, the background moves around them, and it's a really wonderful technique to use. It's hard to get done smoothly if you haven't got a gimbal or a wide lens that's image stabilized, but just with that movement I showed you earlier, you can get this type of shot. Think about movement with your subject staying still as well as your subject moving. Now this shot, whilst it is about the foreground, middle ground, background, it's also about height. If you can get low to the ground, that speed that you move along the ground will add this new dynamic to it, where going head height all the time is very, very boring, to be honest. You go low to the ground and you move, that speed that the ground in front of you moves at, it just gives pace and life to the shot. It's a very simple technique, and done rightly, it will really impress your client, or if it's for your own film, you'll be glad you got it. It's one of those things to think about. How does not necessarily what you've got in the foreground affect the background, but at what speed you can use the foreground to affect the middle ground. Because my mum's walking here, I wanted to get that sense of pace in the shot, which is why I've gone really low angle, so you see the pebbles whizzing by. If I had a stabilizer, it would have been smoother, but I had a camera. Cut me some slack. The last framing, this is a very important lesson. This leaves me space for text. Now, I know I've not put any up here, but if I was going to use this on, say, a National Trust job, I was going to pitch this to a company, having that space means I can chuck a logo in there, I can chuck a call to action in there, and it looks intentional, because it is intentional. I framed it specifically for that reason. If you always frame your person in the center of the shot, what you're going to find is you get to the end and you have no end frame. You'll have to go to black or to white with text. It's a very, very, very basic thing to do, but something people always forget, much like I'm still forgetting to get a good thumbnail shot for my vlogs. You've got to think about not just the film, but how that film was presented and who's going to be using that film or why they're going to be using that film. In a narrative fiction project, not so much of an issue, but in branded content, corporate work, commercial work, you've got to do it. What I've also done, I've left the shot in that framing for long enough that if a client wanted the title, I could put it there. But I've also, at the end, tilted up. And that's in case they want just a full screen. That way they've got a nice cloudy background to work with. It's a simple transition. If you can do that, you'll always give yourself an option. Always try framing your character to an extreme edge with space for text, Keep it long enough that you've got that, and then hide behind something like a wall so you've got that complete black background, or tilt up to the sky, or down to the grass, or shift it completely out of focus. I mean, that's basically it. That's basically my lesson there. I mean, learn your rule of thirds, very basic, very common, but also understand when to use them, when not to use them, and how you can choose to break the rules when you want. When is a negative third relevant? If someone's got a dark past, or if there's intrigue to the shot. When is a negative third not applicable? Doing a corporate interview. Don't do it. So I'll see you tomorrow. Ta-ra.